Welcome once again to Portraits of Hope. I'm your host, Esther Nema, and today we are having an award-winning theater champion, Peter Tosh, and we can't wait to dig deep into his story as he shares his insights and tells us how theater can change this society. Thank you for joining us. So, Peter, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I want to read your bio, but I also just want you to tell us who you are.
I'm an artist, a creative artist. I write plays, I direct plays. I'm also an actor. But now, throughout the years, I've taken my energy to directing and writing. And giving others the platform to act.
Yeah. Did you start as an actor first?
No.
What did you start with?
I was a shy guy. I don't even remember participating in drama first.
Yeah.
But my English teacher, when I was in Form 4, told me to participate in a debate club. And that was now a game changer. So when we came to Nairobi, nilikuwa shago. So when we came to Nairobi, I was like, I want to look for a place where I can be able to express myself. And they told me go to Kenya National Theatre and and when I was sitting there, I didn't know anything about auditioning. I didn't know anything. So this director just came and looked at me and said, "You're an actor?" Yeah.
Oh, they just see you like that,
And that is how I started. We did so many shows at Kenya National Theatre, participated in set book performances, stage plays at Alliance, and that is how it began. And yes, it wasn't a cup of coffee for my dad.
What was your dad's vision of what you were supposed to be?
My dad wanted me to be an engineer. He was an electric engineer
himself,
and to him this was a son who could, I could mess around with his screwdrivers, bulb up some things, so he saw another engineer in me.
Only you had other plans.
Yes. So by the time I was in Form 3, Form 4, aliniambia nifanye physics and stuff, so I lied. I lied
that you did it.
That I did it. And shock on him when I was in Form 4, when I was taking my results, because now nilikuwa gishagi. He was shocked. Where hukufanya physics? But anyway, later in the day, in the years, I told him I want to be an actor. Akasema nataka kuwa kama Ojwang. You know, Ojwang is not a revolutionary. Yeye kaa tu anachekesha tu watu. And there was a fight between me and him in terms of the career I'm choosing. I was chased away from, home. Went and started life somewhere in Kayole.
You were chased away from home.
Yeah, to him, acting was not a career. In fact, to him, Ojwang was a sufferer. And where I come from, titles are very important. And he wanted to introduce me as a son who has studied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you couldn't imagine that I've forgone going to university and I want to pursue acting as a career. He was alikasirika, alisema tu hata hiyo mambo university school ipi. When to survive.
And that was before university?
No, I finished my Form 4. So I want to join.
He refused?
He refused because he told me you need to become an electrical engineer.
And you wanted
despite
to study
the fact
art.
That you have not done physics. This Kenya Poly, you can go to Kenya Poly, do diploma in whatever. So he had a dream about what I'm going to become. And you see, being an electrician, those are things you used to do in the house, and I used to do it too. Like
so you could do it either way.
I could destroy a radio and bring it back together. So I think I gave him hope. That was not there.
That was not there.
I would take a torch and try and manipulate copper and make it work. You see.
So you still can do that?
It
was an interest.
And I could see him do it. And I could see him test. It was ni kama akiwa nyumbani alikuwa anafanya, and I can see and I can do. But then when I found this thing called acting. I fell in love with it. And we had a discussion with him at the dining table. And I remember like yesterday, my mom was seated on a corner and then they're like, we have finished your form 4.
Yeah.
Yes, we didn't do physics. It's okay, but I have a plan.
They know the plans they have for you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So he told me now, I've talked to this guy in Nini Kenya Poly, then you were going to Nairobi University and all that, and I told them, hold on, I want to do acting. Acting utasomea wapi?
Hakuna hata college.
Hakuna college ya acting, hakuna kitu. Sasa hizi ni nini? Na ulikutana na Ujonga akakuongelesha. And you see, then there was a break. When you finish Form 4, there's like a 1-year break.
Yes.
Where you know,
you try
before
everything.
you are called to a university. So that break, I used to go to theater a lot. And that is what now changed everything.
That was the turning point.
Toka kwa nyumba.
Oh my God. It's amazing that it actually reached that extreme.
Yeah, it was painful, but I managed somehow. And then later in the years, I reconciled with him. Though to date, ananiambia, umepata kazi?
I know. Someone said, like especially uko back at home, they are always saying, so and so, sijui anafanya nini uko Nairobi. And yet they know what you're doing,
that is
but they still feel like you're looking for a job. That's amazing. That's powerful. So I feel like art called you.
Yes.
It called you into itself.
In fact, when I, with all humility, when I won an award, I called him, Dad, I've just won 6 categories. The Kenya Theatre Awards, Best Writer, Nini Director. Na uko na pesa ngapi sasa? I'm like, si pesa, nataka udi celebrate. But yeah, so just trying to have a conversation with them and making them understand that theater really pays. And when you choose a career to pursue, you're not pursuing it because you want to pay bills and everything, but you want to make sure that you're satisfied so that in your satisfaction, you're able to pay bills. You get?
I get you, in that passion, you can be all that you can be, and through that, you can even make more than what the salary would have paid you, because your heart is in there.
Very true.
Oh my gosh.
And by God's grace, he was able to one of my mentors told me that now for you to achieve that, you must go back and ask for forgiveness. Ambia forgiveness ya nini? Mzae hataelewi. Even when I talk, ako hiyo ni kuact, ama unaniongelesha.
That's what he says.
So I had to go and have a conversation with him. And African fathers, I'm sorry, is not in their vocabulary. So even hug, so
did you try?
I tried and I was pushed away. Unafanya nini? I was pushed away. Dad, I'm sorry. Sawa, endo ilete kibuyu ya maji. But I'm having a conversation with you. But then I understand him because of now, where he's coming from and all that. But the bigger picture is he understood, forgave me, blessed me, and here we are.
So you finally got his blessing and went on.
I think he's trying to understand still.
He's still,
But ukimpatia sukari anasema, nimepata.
I think it's the same thing with entrepreneurship. All entrepreneurship, which you are, is like you'll be judged for the process until the time you can come and buy everyone lunch, and then finally they're like, okay. Now
after doing that, just getting mentors to be able to because there's one question I had asked myself. My dad has told me a blunt truth. How will you survive with acting?
How did you survive, actually?
It was not easy. Gone to Kayole, nini, looked for a one room. Then 6 months down the line, nikarudi kwa nyumba. Unaona. Then I strategized and then went back. And what helped me is I discovered something called 5221, whereby 50% is just basic needs. You are food, clothing, shelter, basic needs. Then 2-1 is 20%, 10 you save, 10 you put somewhere for entertainment. Lazima urudishe mwili. Utoe shukrani. And then 20% is savings, 10% is tithe. And all this, when I discovered that, if I go to a performance and I'm given that, 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, I'm able to break it down like that and live. That means I now project growth. Another thing is just being able to understand seasons, because acting is seasons. Hii season uko nayo. The next season imekauka. Hakuna hata upige nduru hakuna. Because now Valentine guys want to play. After Valentine is Easter. After Easter is December. So how do you survive in January? And how do you survive in June, July? And how do you, so you make sure that your projection in February is projected all the way to June. I mean to Easter. And vice versa also. So that is how I manage to survive, and just making sure that I have the right people around me to mentor me through financially, to help me in terms of projection. There's an event you organize about entrepreneurship that helped me a lot. Getting to understand, how do you manage your finances as an entrepreneur? So I stopped looking at myself as an artist and as an entrepreneur.
So you brand yourself.
Yes.
Actually, I imagine then a lot of us in the art space have multiple sources of income.
Very true.
Beyond
very true.
Art, beyond whatever you explore now, diverse. Is that how you got into entrepreneurship?
To be honest, I think it's TD Jakes or someone, or Miles Munro, one of them. So what you're saying, what I did is I sat down and identified what I'm good at: directing, acting, and writing. And then when I'm approaching a school to direct a play, that is now part of what you're saying.
So you go to the schools to do that. Oh, that's amazing.
And then when the school tells me, now we want you to write, I separate it. There's directing, and then there's writing. So in financially nikaandika budget ya writing. Alafu naandika budget ya directing. And then now when it comes to acting, which I've taken a pause, but if someone calls me for a production to do a certain character or advertisement or anything, that now becomes another budget. So when I sit down, I look at the three as my business, as like any other business. So you break it down and say, how many directing the schools I'm going to direct, and how can I achieve with their 10 accumulatively? You say,
wow, this is so strategic.
Then if it's writing, uzuri writing ni, you don't have to be there. You just write a script, sell to someone, and make sure you patent it. Kenya, where? And then again, you just be careful, because when you're writing, there are people who can take that script, number one, and copyright it as their own. And then take the same script and analyze it and put in jail. They put in jail. They arrest you.
Really?
Yeah, because
that's what's been happening.
You've talked about them and they don't like it. And another, last but not least, is make sure the script is timely. It can go beyond time. Say, for example, Merchant of Venice. It can go beyond time. So it is not just a Valentine script for that Valentine moment, but it is for every Valentine, so that you can resell it.
Like it can go and go and go. Amazing.
Yes.
So did you, at any point when you're going through your hardship, did you regret? Did you ever write your CV and decide, oh, you'll go back to work, or now you're like, take me back to engineering school? I
tried. I failed.
Where did you start school?
No, I didn't go to school.
The job.
Job.
Okay. What did you go to do?
I went to industrial area, because now, there's no college for acting. Time has gone. The reality of my dad is images in my head. Sasa ni 2 years down the line, utarudiaje shule, college? So I went to Australia and told them that I'm skillful. I can do things, you know, with steamer. You just give me steam. I've not studied, but when nipatie uone. But then they were giving me 250 per day. So you sit there in an industry, they were in it, gill oil something. Alafu naangalia hiyo omo mnatengeneza, ama hizo masabuni mnatengeneza. Then this 250 you need to go and buy milk because of your health. And then again you need to go, as in when you go home, you have 50 shillings and you're not satisfied, and the circle is the same. The circle is the same. And when you go at the gate, because they have not employed you, so you're depending on your name being called by a soldier, hopefully. And then God. There you realize that you need to give him 20 shillings, you know, ukienda so that tomorrow kesho akuone akufanyie hivi. And now that made me feel bad. I deliberately stopped and told myself, and I told God, give me a way out. Just I'm tired of crying, you know. You're there, you can't go back home because your dad has told you the truth, and you're here, you love acting, and you see your colleagues who are trying their level best in their career in terms of acting. Some have gone, they're in Tidy High, nini, and you're there, unajaribu audition, watu wanakuambia no, and then ndio imefika, and then, you know, all these things. So those are the things that, yes, made my life be hard. I cried so many nights. But then again, I thank God, because when I sat down and read, I think Habakkuk 2:2, write it down. So I started writing, like my colleague said, strategy and vision. And then, you know, by God's grace, things just started lining up. And for the first time, I remember I wrote, I need a check of 20,000 shillings. Niliandika tu kasema one day.
Coming soon.
I went to this school and they asked me, so you can direct a play? I said, yeah. So how much? So kwa mind pale kwa kona, 20,000. So, okay, can we give you a check for 20,000? I said, I would have charged more, you know, I would have charged more, but 20,000 is good. It's good. So it took me back to whatever you write down shall come to pass. And I went to that diary, looked at the 20,000 that I had written, and told God, thank you, you know, because for the first time, I was holding a check written 20,000. I would have taken a selfie and sent it to my father. But kusha off,
This was a lot of money.
But I remember just, you know, shopping for him, taking it home, telling him, Dad, thank you. Akasema, achukweni hizi vitu mpeleke huko.
Hiyo ndio asante.
Hiyo ndio asante. Yeah, so those are things that made me harden up and made me just pursue. The journey hasn't been easy. But throughout the years, things have just started lining up. Everything that I wrote down 20 years ago has come to pass 20 years ago. Not all of them, but most of them.
So you keep writing.
Yes.
Did you go and add more zeros on that paper?
I have.
You are like...
I remember writing, I'll be paid 500 per session. And indeed, when I went to a session, I was being paid 500. Then I said, sinikiongeza tu kaziro moja hapa. It was a car sweet. Years later, those are now the numbers that we are playing, you know, with. And now I've added another zero, hoping.
Every session. I love that.
So kidogo too.
I love that our stories are prophetic, that you start to see the things you wrote down and you literally actually see them happening, and it's so amazing. Wow, that is so powerful. So What has been the highlight? Of course, a whole president recognizing your work is such a highlight. But what was that like? Like after going through all this journey, and I don't know how many years you went through the toil and the struggle and all that, but what was it like receiving those recognitions that you got?
It's God. I didn't even see it coming. I didn't see it coming.
How did you receive the news?
In fact, nilikuwa rehearsals, just rehearsing, directing people. And then Kenya Cultural Center calls me and tells me, tomorrow we're meeting at Archive. It is Shujaa Day. So where I'm seated, I know, maybe sisi ni wale watu attend to. Attend to kwa nyuma. So you've been selected to come and attend.
Wapenzi watazamaji.
Wananchi oye. So we went to Archives and we were sitting. There were writers there. I think we were 5 creatives and some were watu wa kuimba, different segments. And then a guy comes and says, you guys, I hope you're not going home because we want to take you to Safari Park Hotel. And I'm like, okay. Sasa, okay, sawa.
You're like, they have not told you anything by then?
Nothing.
Really?
Nothing. So we took these buses that came, not Nyayo bus. There are buses that the Kenyan government had injected in. So we are taking there, the digital one, the ones that are written. So we are known as wale watu watakuwa kesho Mashujaa Day kama visitors. So your entourage, we get in there, we are sitting, and then we're like, you guys, you're not going home. In fact, you're going to sleep here. And I'm like, niliacha getheri nikanifunika. But anyway, it was a shock because now, after that, the next morning, we're told that you guys have been selected as, HSCs, we're like 20 of us from different categories.
HSC is standing for?
Head of State Commendation.
Hey. Me, I cannot even believe you can abbreviate such a word.
So it was a shock because the lady, she's a brilliant lady. She's an artist. Then she has directed, written. I look up to her. She's old. She has acted with Dedan Kimathi. She was just seated here with me. And in my heart, I'm like, you deserve this. It's me sasa sina hata kitabu, Because you know my paper. Behind me there was another director. He's called Sami Mwangi.
I know Sami Mwangi.
He's a mentor. Amebuilda kina Churchill nani, and I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, what am I doing here? And then there's another director. He's a guru in set books, and me. So I asked this lady, do you really think I deserve to be here? Because I feel I'm in the wrong space.
Did you say that?
And I was now telling her, confessing.
I'm
looking at these guys and I'm thinking, I need time. I need to grow old. I need to be, I need to have a certain age or something. And she tells me, why not, Tosh? We've been observing you. And by God's mercy, this is God. This is not your effort. It is God saying thank you. And men must cry. So
Did you?
No, just one drop up.
You did what your dad does. You're like...
Alafu make sure umechuna. That was a great moment. Just getting into the park in Langata. As an entourage and sitting behind the president. Shaking hands, going to State House, taking pictures.
Did you actually enter State House? Like the
amazing.
State House?
Yeah. We were sitting, there were not many, and you're looking at the president, and you're like, I know you.
Oh my gosh.
What a shaking your hand and telling you good job to the industry, giving you that medal and that state of envelope. unajichuna hivi. You know, the dinner set was amazing. For the first time on a fork in a kwaga right ama left.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was quite the experience.
God.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's humbling and very exalting at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's so profound.
I think it's those things that even the awards, Kenya Theatre Awards, when we were at the auditorium, 6 categories. I didn't see it coming. 6
categories? You person?
Yes. I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
We were sitting there as all actors, writers, everyone.
Yeah.
Producers, directors, kila mtu, the who and who in the society. Mm-hmm. So when we're sitting there, they are naming, number 3, and you're sitting there and you're like,
kama huyo ni number 3.
Sami Mwengi ako hapa. Unajua kuna watu
big shots. Yeah.
It's obvious. And it's you understand.
Yeah.
So when they called best producer and I had my name and aujasikia vizuri yani
au kusimama.
But ule producer wa Kajentan Boy, there are guys that have been in the industry that have done incredible things. My one film, short film, 20 minutes, does it. I kept quiet. Tu ni Mungu. Then kikaka unasikia director Tosh unasema ai Jaisha. Script writer.
Yeah.
Okay. And there are guys who Nato, I think, Savior. Mm-hmm. He passed away. I think it's this year or last somewhere. That guy is great. He's a great writer.
Yeah.
Very good writer. And you can't imagine yani being called as in mko naye pamoja. Mimi hata nimeandika play ngapi? Mimi nimeandika yes, I've written plays and public shows and everything, but those 6 categories was just humbling. And then now the climax was the best theater group, the best theater company in Kenya.
Yeah.
And when they called
Kenya.
And when they called, there are guys who have done akina Ian. Unajua kuna watu
years and years.
Unakaa tu hivi unasema hawa hata sidhani kaa kampuni yangu
hata karibu ungekuja.
And they called and they said Liquid Arts Entertainment and that was humbling. All this was humbling. And these are
all
things,
in the same day.
Yes. It was humbling. Ni Mungu. And all that is Habakkuk 2:2. 10 years ago, I just wrote it down. I want, God, be the best theater company, be the best director. Hizo zote niliandika came to pass. And it's God. Hata nilienda kumuuliza. Mbona?
You can be receiving, you're receiving so many awards until you're ashamed.
It was humbling. I was shocked. In fact, I was pushed. Wewe hujasikia sauti yako, jina yako yani.
Unasimama na heshima.
Sure. Then the cabinet secretary for Ministry of Sports and Culture repeated it again, and those are just humbling moments that I wished my dad was there. To see.
To witness.
To witness. I remember before nilichukua vitu zote za nyumba nikapeleka theater, so set up. Akakuja vitu zangu ziko wapi? And my mom is like, mtoto wako amechukua amehama. And then our dads used to have a specific chair. Hata hii imeenda. So he sent my mom. My mom didn't come to watch the show. She came to confirm if things are safe.
Jaiba.
Okay, and I'm like, give it up for my mom.
Now I understand the experiences. It's so amazing. So what kept you going? Because this is an award for excellence and a reward for perseverance and endurance. What kept you going in a time that was so dark and tough?
I think people,
Yeah.
the thespians and actors, they are, allow me to say the young people, my team. What I experienced, I could imagine them going through that in their homes. And the fact that this is a platform. As entrepreneurs, we create platform for people to express themselves. You can have a groundnut factory, and there's this person who's just coming to grind the groundnuts. You're giving that person hope. You know, so what made me wake up in the morning and go to Kenya National Theatre and direct these people was the fact that I've given them a platform, you get, and if I give up, what will happen to them? Many times I've gotten no profit, you know, unafanya show, mko mtu mmoja amekuja, and you go back there and you encourage them, you tell them, by the way, there was no one who attended, but angels were there. And just seeing these people later on become people in the society. Akina Foi Wamboi, you look at them and you say, I directed, you remember, and they associate their, where they started. They can say, I started at Liquid Entertainment, and many other people who are doing great things in the theater. And right now, they are people in the society. So I thank God for them giving me hope to continue. Yeah.
That is so powerful.
Yeah.
And I think when the vision becomes beyond you, beyond your survival, beyond you seeing another day, and it becomes about more people, it drives you. You wake up every day and you're like...
There's a mother who called me and told me, Tosh, is this liquid acid? Yeah. Tosh, I don't know what you did to my child, but she has a purpose. She's waking up in the morning, coming to, you know, her discipline is intact. Her way of expressing herself is intact. There's something you did that I don't know how to say thank you. And I told her, to me, yes, thank you, accepted. But the fact that you gave her an opportunity to come to theater, you know, that was profound, because my parents didn't want that opportunity to be given to me. To them, there was a certain mutaratara, which I understand, system, you know, so many vijana and all that. So now by the time things are carving up, you as a parent, you gave her the opportunity to become, and now she's, you know, she's in the radio, she's doing her thing. And you know, as a human, you might be tempted to say, where see, nilikujenga. But then the beauty about this is the fact that they're out there doing their thing, and you created a platform. I think every entrepreneur should be driven by that. The fact that you started this business, it started as a shop, mini supermarket, and now it's a supermarket. Those people that you have employed are going back home to feed their families because of your business.
That is so powerful. I became speechless. Like, that is so powerful. So the next play, the future, what should we await? I feel like, I'm not even thinking you are the, what's this guy's name? Who built the biggest, Tyler Perry. Your story is so similar.
Thank you.
But the future, when is the next play? What should we anticipate? What should we look forward to?
The future is big, so big. The next play that we have currently is 19th of July. But now I've ventured into children also, just mentoring children. Partnered with schools to do musical. There's a musical we're planning to do end of this year. Also partnered with colleges. There's one that we're doing at Daystar University. Partnered with, just partnership to see how we can be able to reach a milestone and you know, and empower people. We've started even a curriculum for theater, and I thank God with all humility, CBC, developers or something, they sat down with us and told us, how can we make this curriculum work to the system,
Wow.
And all that, just partnering with KCA University, they have performing arts, theater curriculum. They have partnered. So this year and many years to come, just partnership to see how we can be able to partner with institutions, organizations, and make sure that we exploit. Lastly is film. We are planning to do a film, hopefully end of this year, and just to pioneer and engage people. Theater and film are memorable because people want to see and they want to hear and they remember. Because that is the only way. No one can. We all remember Titanic. And we all have those moments when we were crying for no apparent reason. So these stories are there to be told every day. Vegetation tell a story. How the maize grows and becomes 2, 3, that is a story.
If you can explain it. Interesting.
Ants tell a story. Stories are told every day. If you allow me, God is a script writer, a director, and an actor. So the Bible has different characters, and God has written them. So you see, when movies talk about Hulk, we see Samson being that person who lifts things. When people talk about Flash, we see Elijah overtaking the chariot, just running, So when we say, what about animation in the Bible? It is there, the donkey spoke. So different aspects of theatrical perspectives and stories are in human beings, and because He created us, and the creation story is a script, a blueprint to our story. So we tell stories from an amazing statue of a frog that is there, doing a very nice music. So there are stories that are there that are not told. African stories,
so many.
Our culture, our mysterious stories that are not yet told. There's that, the lure of that Shujaa guy who had a spear, for Luanda Magere, Mijikenda of a certain story of a lady, Miketilile. All these stories are not yet told. And the best people tell these stories is us. Ourselves. And I would tell people to go watch anything that is done by Kenyans. Visit theater. Watch plays. These are spaces that we tell authentic stories.
They are so raw. Even humor, you feel it and you understand it. So if people can align themselves and come to Kenya National Theatre, even support Kenya for Kenyans, they buy film, if they can support the Kenyan industry, trust you me, there are so many stories that are not told, that are yet to be told. They are yet to be told.
Yes.
No, it's amazing. And you know what? We've literally scratched only the surface. The possibility is huge. And I like that you've just said what the audience have the responsibility to do to ensure that the theater and the film space thrives.
And you see, to us as theater practitioners, the audience inspires us. When the house is full, you have bread on the table. You see? So if there's a way the public can be able to just randomly walk at Kenya National Theatre, or if they hear there's a play that is happening, they look at the authentic, au makomando wezi washika, wezi wasalimia, akina Rambo, wezi. But akina Tosh, you can say hi to them. Wanaishi pale Kariobangi South, unaweza visit. Unaweza wasalimia. Unlike people that are, and no offense, people that are acting out there in movies, and you can't really relate with them. But you have these people who are here, you can even tell them your story to act. There's a guy who came and said, Tosh, I don't know, I'm not a writer, but can I tell you my story? You stage it. I listened to him. So
some of the stories are common stories that you're telling.
Just drafted it, staged it. He brought all the family, and when you were watching, so Aki, ni wewe. Wewe ni wewe.
Wow.
And it was amazing. Yeah.
That is so powerful.
Yeah.
I'm very inspired, and your journey, it shows the full circle.
Yeah.
It shows faith. It shows resilience.
Yeah.
It shows that you stuck through it. I wanted you to talk to an actor, an actress, and even the audience. I want you to speak to them about why they should chase their dreams and why it's also possible for them, and then invite the audience to buy Kenyan and be Kenyan. So, but you've stopped having one audience.
Yes.
You've changed your ways.
And now it's a game changer. It's a game. I can tell it hasn't been easy, to be honest. You do, production, you have a budget, nini, and you have cost to pay. And when you open the curtain, you see he's a friend. It's okay. Let's start the show.
You appreciate them, you even buy them lunch. But now it's a game changer. Not yet there, but I can't say 10 years ago, the level of audience that I have right now has grown. It has grown. Consistency is key. Just push. Just push. The dynamic of the company, from the level of not just doing stage plays, but doing set book performances, doing musicals. So you diverse. So opening it up, writing scripts, teaching people how to write scripts, coming up with clubs in schools. All these things, universities and stuff. So I can't compare now and 20 years ago. In fact, Corona was a hard rock. A hard rock. You can't perform anywhere. Did you start a YouTube channel?
Yes, we did. We did something called Theatre on YouTube. So Theatre on YouTube, we do a private link, you pay. Then you pay to watch. So ukitoa so unatumiwa link. It made us be creative, and we made money at that particular. It was 2 years back to back, I think, the Corona thing. So we made money. We were acting in the house. Not in the house. We talked to a church. They gave us a space. So we made a backdrop, light, nini, and sanitize and mask. And
he said the show must go on.
Must go on. And we used to go live. People pay. People were supportive. That is how we're able to grow our audience.
It's the Kenyan spirit, actually.
Yes.
It's the Kenyan spirit. I know, like, Africans will just buy for the sake of buying. The love for people, and the fact that, youth theatre people do not have a show, so what can we do? Imagine.
We have a link here. Kindly subscribe, telling people at 7 a.m. you're going to, 7 p.m. you're going live. Once you are live, there's a till number that is running there. Thank God for, DOPs. I didn't watch the play, I missed it. There's a private link, just wait. You send it to them, they pay bill, buy goods, nini. They were very supportive. Some did shopping for us, and cast members, we did shopping for them.
Wow.
This is for your 1 month. It was amazing. It was amazing.
It was such a beautiful spirit.
And just thinking outside the box, like, kumbe you can do theater and people can watch on YouTube.
Creativity. I say necessity is the mother of invention.
Very true, very true. So I think for those people who have passion to something, God created us for a certain reason. We can't all be billionaires, but we can be billionaires in our own space. And the impact that you create in your space is your Garden of Eden. So you're just mentioning things, and you're visiting God in the evening, and So that element of just being in your space, and your talent is not yours. It can never be yours. It's for people. The more you share, the more you become relevant in the community. If you stop sharing, you become irrelevant.
Wow.
So that is what I can tell them. And
That is so powerful. That is so good.
Yeah, thank you.
Your talent is not your own. That was so amazing and so powerful, very profound.
Yeah.
You know what? It's a Kenyan spirit. It's just the people spirit that makes enterprises and business go round. And you've heard how you can be part of contributing to that spirit, to the culture of support that allows for all of us to thrive.
Yeah.
You have been listening to Peter Tosh, award-winning, shook the president's hand, ate at State House.
Yeah.
This could be you if you chase your dreams. Thank you very much for joining us here at Portraits of Hope. I've been your host, Esther Neema, and thank you once again for being part of this. See you soon.